Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to English O'Clock. Now today we are going to study Rattrap by Selma Lagerlof. That's the next chapter in our series from a Flamingo book itself. Now to talk about this chapter is a little bit lengthy. So I'll try कि मैं एक ही वीडियो में सारा चैप्टर आपको एक्सप्लेन कर दूँ so that आपको बार बार वीडियोज़ ना स्विच करने पड़े. And when I say lengthy, then definitely it means कि multiple characters होंगे. Definitely it means कि ज़्यादा plot होगा, ज़्यादा plot twist होंगे, तो इसलिए थोड़ा सा difficult और tricky भी हो सकता है. Now पहले understand कर लेते हम ये chapter, then हम इसके बारे में सब चीज़ें discuss करेंगे. Now I hope that you are aware about a rat trap. Rat trap is like a चूहेदानी. Now when I say the word rat trap, I mean to say that there would be no liberation. There would be no freedom. If I put someone in a rat trap, then definitely means that I am just snatching the rights of liberation from that man, and there would be helplessness on his or her part, because freedom is something which is compromised. No matter whatever is the reason, but freedom is something that is compromised. अब इस बैकग्राउंड के साथ हम चैप्टर स्टार्ट करेंगे. सेल्मा लेगरलॉफ स्वीडिश राइटर हैं एंड एक यूनिवर्सल थीम के साथ वो अपने प्लॉट्स लिखते हैं, जिसमें यूनिवर्सल थीम इज दैट इफ यू आर गुड टू समबडी then you can change a person by goodness, by that she believes that essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. स्वीडन की माइंड्स में ये सेट है स्टोरी, एंड द स्टोरी इज टोल्ड समवट इन अ मैनर ऑफ अ फेरी टेल. ना क्यों है फेरी टेल? इसका फर्स्ट phrase देखो, once upon a time. This is how generally fairy tales start, that once upon a time there lived a man, like that. And also this story will have too many characters. There would be a lady just like a princess, not very beautiful but not very pretty. Like beautiful pretty का I hope understand करते हो आप difference. And along with that, this lady would be responsible for bringing out the change in a poor person. There would be a poor person which would go or undergo some changes which would be better. Halki si my voice would be a little different. I'm a bit under the weather, so just spare that. Chalo, let's start. Once upon a time, there was a man who went around selling small rat traps of wire. He made them himself at odd moments from the material he got by begging in the stores or at big farms. So there's this rat trap peddler, tramp, vagabond. This is the name. There's no other name given. It's just this is the name given to that person. And this man has two occupations. Number one is begging, and number two is theft. So either he is begging or he is just stealing things. And from these two motives, from these two ways, he is just, see, yahin par dekho, resort to both begging and petty thievery to keep body and soul together. So his clothes are in rags, cheeks was sunken, there's nothing pinkish, nothing, no tint at all, and his eyes were gleaming with hunger. Like he has been so poor, extremely poor, pathetic, impoverished actually. He hasn't been eaten well, he does not look well, hasn't bathed for a very long period of time. बस rat trap बनाता है, चूहेदानी बना रहा है, और ये जो वायर एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा चीज़ें बना रहा है, ये सब either वो he is begging from somebody or he is stealing from somebody, like small collection here and there. No one can imagine how sad and monotonous life can appear to be such a vagabond who plods along the road, left to his own meditations. One day this man had fallen into a line of thought which really seemed to him entertaining. He had naturally been thinking of his rat traps when suddenly he was struck by the idea that the whole world is a rat trap. The whole world with its lands and seas and cities and villages was nothing but a big rat trap. Very important line. This is his experience with the world. He says that जैसे एक rat trap में we catch people by putting some bait, like कुछ चारा रख के, कुछ ट्रैप करके हम ऐसे लोगों को ट्रैप करते हैं. सिमिलरली दिस एंटायर वर्ल्ड, ये बहुत फिलोसॉफिकल टॉपिक है, उसका फिलोसॉफिकल थॉट है. दिस एंटायर वर्ल्ड इज़ अ रैट ट्रैप, जिसमें हमारी रिचेस, हमारी लग्जरीज, हमारी नेसेसिटीज़ फॉर दैट मैटर, सभी एक ट्रैप है. अगर हम इन चीज़ों के पीछे भागते रहेंगे तो हम अपने इस वर्ल्ड वाले रैट ट्रैप में फंस के रह जाएंगे. एंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हम जैसे एक झूठ बोलते हैं टू अचीव समथिंग, तो हम रैट ट्रैप में फंस जाएंगे, एंड देन वी हैव टू लाई मल्टीपल टाइम्स एंड विल जस्ट बी स्टक विद दैट. ये थीम, ये वाला कॉन्सेप्ट बताता है. सो ही इज जस्ट ब्रिंगिंग आउट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ फिलोसॉफिकल very philosophical. एक गरीब आदमी है, he is just moving here and there along the forest, and he is just having this thought in his head. It had never existed for any other purpose than to set baits for people. So people के लिए bait रखने के लिए. It offered riches and joy, shelter and food, heat and clothing, exactly as the Rattrap offered cheese and pork. And as soon as anyone let himself be tempted to touch the bait, it closed on him, and then everything comes to an end. So जैसे एक rat trap है, similarly लोगों के लिए भी एक rat trap है. Again, very important because he's connecting the world with this. The world, of course, had never been kind to him, so it gave him unwanted joy to think ill of it, the world. So obviously, if you will see such a dirty, shabby, and a poor man, you will also not be very kind to that man, right? You would not ask that man to come at your home, and you will not feed that man. So that's why the world never been kind to him. So he likes thinking ill of the world. It's like a boomerang. It became a cherished pastime of his during many dreary proddings to think of people he knew who had let themselves be caught in the dangerous snare, and of course who were still circling around the bait. So he kept on thinking about people जिन्होंने एक झूठ बोला, एक bait में फंस गए, trap हो गए, and then they got stuck in the rat trap. And then he's also thinking about people who are just still struggling around the rat trap. ठीक है, अब ये हमारी once upon a time वाली story. अब story start होती है. One dark evening, as he was trudging along the road, he caught sight of a little grey cottage. Now, sorry to cut you, but it's a lengthy chapter, so मैं थोड़ा सा fast read करूँगी, but आप इसको understand, explain मैं पूरा कराऊँगी, तो आप मेरे साथ साथ रीड करते रहो और एक्सप्लेनेशन पे ध्यान दो ज़्यादा. एंड ऑब्वियसली टेक्स्ट एक बार पढ़ना पड़ेगा, मेरे साथ ही पढ़ लो तो बेटर है. He caught sight of a little grey cottage by the roadside, and he knocked on the door to ask shelter for the night. Nor was he refused. So very first time, very strangely, उसने cottage में पूछा enter करने के लिए, and he was not refused. The owner of the cottage, he was quite welcoming. He said that come. Instead of the sour face which ordinarily met him, the owner, who was an old man which ordinarily without wife or child, was happy to get someone to talk to in his loneliness. So this man, old man, he was very lonely. Very lonely. He had no wife, no children. So that is why this man allowed this peddler to come and spend the night. Immediately he put the porridge pot on fire, gave him supper, big slice from tobacco roll, stranger's pipe, and finally they also played Mollis. So it's a card game and it's a Swedish game. Howsoever you want to pronounce it, that does not matter. It's a card ka game hai that they played. Now see how the old man, this man, he was so hospitable, so warm, so welcoming. Because see, for him, he was looking for somebody. Somebody should come and somebody should spend some time with him, because he has no person around. So that is why he's also very excited to see this peddler. The old man was just as generous with his confidence as with porridge and tobacco. So guest was informed. So they started talking. So उसने peddler को बताया that prosperity के days हैं, and he used to be a crofter at Ramzo Iron Works. It's a mill. बहुत important है हमारे लिए Ramzo Iron Works. ये mill हमारे लिए बहुत important है text के लिए. So he used to work there, but अब वो वहाँ पे काम नहीं करता. That is what he told me, and he told him, and that he said that now he has a car and he's having a creamery business, and because of this creamery business, he just earned 30 kroners. Now 30 kroners is the denomination, the money, the currency that they have, and apparently it's a very huge amount, right? So now just see this man, peddler, who is famous for stealing and begging. Will you accept this? How the old man told everything to this man. Just see कितने level तक old man lonely है कि he did not even think one single time to share all the small details, every small detail with this peddler, जो देखने में ही इतना weird लग रहा है. So strange. The stranger must have seemed incredulous, for the old man got up and went to the window, took down a leather pouch which hung on a nail in the very window frame, and picked out 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. Then he held up before the eyes of his guest, nodding knowingly, and then stuffed them back into the pouch. So not only did he tell him 3 kroners के बारे में, but he also showed him where did he keep the money. So everything. He showed him everything. The next day, both of them got up in good season. Good season implies very good spirit. The crofter was in a hurry. Good spirit. I'll write this so that you can copy. The crofter was in a hurry to milk his cow, and the man thought कि जब The head of the house has gotten up, so why should I stay in the bed? So the crofter also went. Both of them went, and both of them went to divergence, like opposite directions mein chale gaye. See, the man said, the Rattrap peddler said goodbye and said thank you, and both of them went on their way. But half an hour later, peddler was standing again on the door of the old man, and he did not try to get into the house. Rather, what he did, he just smashed a pane, stuck his hand, got hold of the pouch, and took the 30 kroners. So basically, he stole the 30 kroners. Now see, it is like a trust break kara usne. He broke the trust because abhi tak nobody was warm and kind to the peddler. That was pretty nice. This old man who became kind, served him, fed him, gave him place to sleep and everything. He cheated. So why would anybody be nice and kind to this peddler? Nobody would be, na, jab usne cheat hi karna hai to. He took the money and thrust it into his own pocket. Then he hung the leather pouch very carefully and he went. Now, अब ये 30 kroners जो है, these were the bait. अब उसने झूठ बोल दिया, he stole. अब ये 30 kroners bait है, and he himself will be in a trap now. As he walked along with the money in his pocket, he felt quite pleased with his smartness. He thought that he's very smart, but no. They had not continued on the public highway, and he must turn off the wood. So he decided that let me take a route which is not visible, so that if somebody catches me, if I'll walk on a public highway, people will catch me easily. I have to hide and walk. So during the first hour, it was okay for him, but later it became worse because it was a big and confusing forest. Very important. And just every other road just went on to another road. So it was twisted and very back and forth. He walked and walked without coming to the end of the wood, and finally he realized that he had only been walking in the same part of the forest. So basically what has happened, he has got lost in the forest now. That is being trapped in the forest. अब ये forest में जो lost है, lost in the forest is just similar to equal to trapped in a rat trap. And what was the bait? 30 kroners. Right. Okay. All at once he recalled his thoughts about the world and the rat trap. Then he started thinking about his own concept, जो भी उसने सोचा था. Now his turn had come. He had let himself be fooled by a bait and had been caught. The whole forest with the trunks and branches, thickets and fallen logs closed in upon him like an impenetrable prison from which he could never escape. Very important again. So he is accepting this fact also that whatever I did now, since I have catch on to this, I have become a part of this trap and I will be now lost here. Lost हो गया है वो. So he's trapped now. समझ में आ रहा है ना? I hope. चलो, नहीं आ रहा तो just keep commenting in the comment section. I'll share my feedbacks and I'll clear your doubts. It was late in December. अब देखो, December is always the time of Christmas, and festivals are basically a time of charity, helping, love, helping the poor. वो spirit भी है इसमें साथ में. Darkness was already descending over the forest. This increased danger and increased also the gloom and despair. Finally, he saw no way out. He sank on the ground, tired to death. He was just so tired, thinking that this last moment had come. जैसे उसने सोचा कि सब खत्म हो गया, अब he from a distance heard regular thumping. Those were the hammer strokes from an iron mill, and he thought that people must be there. So he just got up, staggered his strength, and then he went. And he went to Ramzo Ironworks. अब याद रखना, Ramzo Ironworks was the place wherein the old man used to be a worker earlier. अब ये उसी जगह पे आ गया है, ठीक है? Which are now closed down. Large plant smelter. It's a very big place. So in the summertime, long lines of heavily loaded barges and scows slid down the canal, which led to a large inland lake. And in the winter time, the roads near the mill were black and covered with coal dust. Okay. During one of the long dark evenings just before Christmas, the master smith and his helper sat in the dark forge waiting for the big pig iron had been put. I hope you know, lohe ko to you have to burn in order to give it the shape and make it more steady. Be ready to be put up on the anvil. Anvil is the place wherein they are burning the iron. Every now and then they would just get up, stir the glowing mass, and then return, dripping with perspiration. So it was very hot because of the fire and the entire place. It was very hot. ठीक है. अब what were they wearing? They wore nothing but a long shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. Okay. अब ये सब सुन रहा था वो. So the big bellows groaned and the burning coal cracked. The fire boy shoveled charcoal in the maw of the furnace with a great deal of clatter. अब obviously if you're going to throw charcoal in the fire, it's going to burn with a lot of clatter, sound. Outside roared the waterfall and a sharp north wind whipped the rain against the... This is like a absolute beautiful fairy tale kind of a scene. It was probably on account of one of these noises that blacksmith did not notice that the man had opened the gate and entered until he stood up to the very close to the furnace. So itna noisy tha that he must not have noticed. So now the tramp has come into the furnace. Surely it was nothing unusual for poor vagabonds without any better shelter for the night to be attracted to the forge by the glow of light which escaped them through sooty panes and to come and warm themselves. Christmas ka time is, so it's going to be very wintry, very cold, and the place was very warm. So it was okay for them. It was a general thing. The blacksmith glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder. He looked the way people of his type usually did. So he could be okay. His long beard, dirty, ragged, bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. So like very unappealing presentation of him. Very unappealing. Nobody would be ready to accept him or welcome him or anything of that sort. And still the man who did, he cheated that man. That's the sad part. Very unappealing. We could say that he was looking a bit hideous also. Very shabby, dirty. He asked permission to stay and the blacksmith nodded a haughty consent without honoring him with a single word. So haughty consent is he was a bit proud that, oh fine, I am going to allow him to stay here. But he's just the blacksmith. He's not the owner. The tramp did not say anything either. He was like, fine, and I'll just keep myself warm here and I'll sleep. So this mill was owned by an ironmaster, and the main ambition of that ironmaster was to ship out good iron, and he was very workaholic. He used to come on nightly rounds of inspection. He used to come and inspect what is happening, how are they working. So this ironmaster is another character, very important character, and he's a workaholic. His only concern is to send good and the best kind of iron out in the market. So naturally the first thing he saw, the tall ragamuffin is also tramp vagabond. So this man came for his nightly round inspection. Patrolling पे आया वो. So patrol बोलते patrol लिखते हम patrol है, but it's patrol. So it's like the way police patrol on the roads, like that. Naturally the first thing he saw was the tall ragamuffin who had eased his way so close to the furnace that steam rose from his wet rag. So he was dripping. The ironmaster did not follow the example of the blacksmith, who had hardly deigned to look at the stranger. He walked up close. Like the blacksmith, he did not do anything. Instead, he tore off his slouch hat to get a better view of the face. Usne face पे से उसके hat हटाई, and everything was so wet there because of the sweat, and इतना hot था वहाँ पे because of the iron being melted every minute. So he just removed that hat of his and he said, oh, it is you, Nils Olaf, how do you look? Now the point is, this iron master has mistaken him to be one of his old acquaintance, a regimental comrade, like a man from the army which used to work with him. And he's like, oh my god, this is you, look at how are you, what happened to you, you used to be in army and now what is your condition and all of that. He has mistook the man for somebody else. Mistook the man to be Nils Olaf. He thought that he's somebody else, but he's not. So, obviously, Rattrap peddler knew that this man is highly wrong. He had never seen him anytime, but he did not decided to correct him. So therefore he did not want to undeceive him all at once. So उसने correct करने का नहीं सोचा, but he was like, okay fine, old acquaintance होगा तो I'll be able to sleep for the night here. So he just said that God knows things have gone downhill with me. You should have resigned from the regiment. Should not have resigned for the death. That was the mistake. If only I had still been in the service, it would never have happened. Of course, you'll come home with me. So now the Ironmaster has invited the Rattrap peddler, thinking him to be Nils Olaf, to come to his home. But he says, if I'm going to go to the mayor's house and be received by the owner as the regimental comrade, then it is like going back to the lion's den. It seems like that. Going back to the lion's den, because he's going to go back to the city again. He has already escaped from that city. People would know. People are looking for him. So he thought that no, it's not a good idea. And then he denied, of course. He said, no, I cannot come. So, because he thought of the 30 kroners. So, he only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible. So, this is the tramp. Tramp was like, मुझे और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. I just want to sleep here tonight and I'll leave the next morning. So, as I said, that he thought it's a lion's den. So Ironmaster was like, he thought that maybe he's embarrassed that itna miserable clothing mein hai wo, etc, etc. But then he says that, Elizabeth is dead and you already heard my boys are abroad and there's no one except me and my daughter. So the Ironmaster says that I and my daughter, both of us only live at our home and there's nobody else. And moreover, he says that it's Christmas, we would want you to come. Don't give excuses, we will not judge you. And he's very warm as a person because he thinks that he know him. But the stranger, of course, said no and no and no. But Ironmaster, being Ironmaster, he did not give up. What he did, he just left that conversation and he just left that place. It looks as though Captain Von still preferred to stay with you tonight, Stone. He said to the master blacksmith and turned onto his heel. So now, Captain Von Stale is his name, Nils Olaf. And tonight, that's Stirrstorm is the name of the blacksmith. Okay. After that, he left, Ironmaster. बोला उसको ये सब and then वो चला गया. अब the tramps thought that since the Ironmaster has left, now it is fine. He will no longer be troubling him to just come at home. Fine. But the blacksmith knew that he only had left the place. He had not given up altogether. So, half an hour ke andar, there was a sound of carriage wheels outside the forge and the Ironmaster has sent his daughter. And he thought that the daughter would be able to persuade the man much better. So, daughter came in, entered with the valet, and she had a big fur coat. She was not pretty, but seems modest and quite shy. As I said, externally, you might not say that she was very pretty and all, but she was beautiful, kind, compassionate, everything. So, nothing was different. So everyone was working, master blacksmith and band, they were still on the bench and everything was working. The stranger had stretched himself on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his hat pulled over. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his hat. The man was evidently used to be sleeping with one eye open. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. So he was deeply sleeping. He was in his deep slumber. He did not even realize that he's sleeping with one eye open. So, the moment this girl just picked up the hat from his face, Tramp woke up very abruptly. And he was quite frightened also. What is happening? This lady says, my name is Edla Wilmanson. And my father had come home and said that he wanted to sleep here in the forge. So, I asked the permission from my father to come and pick you up. I'm so sorry, Captain, that you're having a hard time. Look at how kind this lady is. She looked at him compassionately with a heavy eye, then noticed the man was afraid. This girl thought that man is pakka afraid of something. So, two cheezein hain. Either he must have stolen something or he has escaped from the jail. And then she says, उसने सोचा तो उसने बोला कि you will be allowed to leave as freely as you come. Just spend Christmas with us. Because Christmas for them is a time of charity, love, like any other festival. and sharing, eating good food, spending time with family. So she was like, if you want to go, we'll allow you to go. We'll not even ask you one single question, but just come and stay with us. The voice and the manner she said was so nice that peddler was like, okay, fine, I'll come at you. I'll come at once. So coat he gave, and he threw his rags, and then they followed the young lady, and he left without even looking at the blacksmith. They were quite strange about it कि हमने यहाँ पे रहने की जगह दी और हमें देखा भी नहीं और चला गया. Evil forebodings while he was walking up here. Evil foreboding, that means he had premonitions that पक्का कुछ तो गड़बड़ होने वाली है. Of course he knew it. He's going back to the lion's den, so कुछ तो problem होगी. Now he's thinking about the fact that why did I take the money? Why did I take that fellow's money? And he says that now I am in this trap and I'll never be able to get out of this trap. Okay, they're at their home. So next day, Christmas Eve hai. So Iron Master came to the dining room for the breakfast, and very important. First of all, you must see that he has been given food to eat. Right? After that, he says that we need to look for him to do something else instead of selling rat traps. It is a very embarrassing job, so there must be something else that you should do rather than just sell rat traps. Gets a little flesh on the bone implies thoda sa khane khila do to he'll be not that malnourished. It is queer. Queer means strange. Daughter was like, last night I had no idea. I did not even feel for once that he was an educated man. So the father says that, little girl, be patient. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something else. So he says the tramp manners will also fall away from him with the tramp clothes. So जैसे ही उसके ये poor and downtrodden हालत है जो उसकी ये ठीक हो जाएगी. Downtrodden is also poor. He will be a good and nice fellow. Basically, the girl said कि I came with the tramp. They don't know the name. I came with the man to the house, but I never knew कि ये एक army से है. इसके manners नहीं थे वैसे. He had nothing of this. And she was like, ठीक है, गरीब हो गया, things did not go well, but manners भी नहीं थे. So the father said that, wait for some time. जैसे he'll be all cleaned up and he'll be having better clothes, तो उसके manners भी वापस आ जाएंगे. So जैसे they were talking about these things, suddenly stranger came in. Stranger is the peddler itself. Now why is he being called a stranger? Because he was truly clean and well dressed. Bath हो गया, shower हो गया, etc etc, और good looking suit में जो Iron Master का था, starch collars. अब obviously now since he's all clean, nobody would recognize him, because in the very first place he is not Nils Olaf. So how would anybody recognize him? This man is quite clean and groomed and whatnot, and still the Iron Master isn't happy. The Iron Master is still upset. He will be upset because he thought the man to be of someone else, but the man is someone else. Now he's asking, what does this mean? The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. He saw at once the splendor that had come to an end. So uska sara fun khatam ho gaya. It's not my fault, sir. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader. I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge, but no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags away and go. So this man is saying that, it's fine. मैंने आपको नहीं बोला था कि आप मुझे invite करो. You were only after my life that come at our home. You only sent your daughter, come at our home. अभी भी कुछ नहीं बिगड़ा. I'll just pick up my old clothes and I'll go. This is what the peddler said. But the Iron Master was very very unhappy, very sad about it. It was not quite honest. So Iron Master said, ठीक है, झूठ नहीं बोला, but सच भी तो नहीं बोला. You also hid the truth. You never told me that you're not this person. So you should have told me. And he's threatening him for the sheriff. That is cops. So the moment he heard this, he was like, fine, I'll explain you something. Now Iron Master को tramp बोलता है, this whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but rins and bits of pork, and set out to drag a poor fellow into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up, then it's you. You must remember that there would be a day when a big piece of pork and then you'll get caught in the trap. So he's just explaining his ideas. जो भी उसने अपनी meditations बनाई थी अभी तक, he's just explaining him that you know this entire world is a rat trap and all of that. If I'll go, then it'll be your fault as well. आज तो मैं पकड़ा जा रहा हूँ, कल तुम पकड़े जाओगे. He's just saying, uttering, blabbering these things. So very deeply lost. Listening to all this, the Iron Master began to laugh, of course. What will he do? He'll just not buy all these things. He'll just start laughing. So he's like, you need to go out of here. But the very moment he said, the Iron Master, that you need to go out, Edla says that no, he'll not be going out. She says that we have promised him that we are going to give him Christmas cheer. So that's why we are going to give him. Yes, okay. And she says that I was so happy in the morning that finally we have a guest here and it was feeling home-like and Christmassy. And you want that man to just leave from here. So she thinks that, she says good thing about it. He walks the whole year and probably not a single place in the country where he's welcomed and can feel at home. Afraid of being arrested, cross-examined, I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us. He could not bring himself to oppose her. So, Iron Master was obviously in love with the daughter. So, the daughter was such a kind person and she spoke so nicely and so argumentatively, but in a very positive way, that he could not do anything about it. And the girl kept on saying that it was our mistake and we promised him Christmas cheer, so we need to deliver our promise. And to whom we have promised Christmas cheer? So the father says, you do preach worse than a parson. कि एक संत, एक monk, एक holy person से भी ज़्यादा बुरा तुम किसी को treat करती हो. That means उससे भी ज़्यादा बुरा तुम हमें preach करती हो, सिखाती हो every time. That is the literal Hindi meaning of that. I only hope you won't have to regret it. Obviously the father was quite scared. The man was a thief. He might steal something else. So the father was like, don't regret this later on. So the girl was fine. Okay, we'll see. So now they sit down and they eat. They did not talk anytime. Time after time, young girl pe usne dekha and he continuously thought that why had she fought for me with her father? Why for me? What did I do? Why was she so interested in making me stay? So after that, Christmas Eve at Ramzo passed just as it always. The stranger did not cause any trouble because the stranger did not do anything. He just woke up, eat, sleep and repeat. That is what he did. He kind of slept the entire day, did not disturb anyone. So बस वो पूरे दिन सोफे पे पड़ा रहा, गेस्ट रूम में पड़ा रहा, and he just kept on sleeping. He woke up, he ate, and then he slept, and then he repeated the same thing. So in the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him again, and he stood there for a while, and then he disappeared again. 2 hours later, he was again up, and he was given food, Christmas fish and porridge. What he did was, after this, when everything went over, as soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. So you remember that he was wearing a suit, and this lady said that keep this as a Christmas present, don't return this to me. And she also says that if you want to come to our place the very next year to spend some Christmas, to spend some joyous time, feel free to come. You can rest in peace and nobody would harm you here. You are more than welcome. Now see how kind this lady is. I mean, kindness is something of a very small word when I talk about this lady. She's beyond nice. Like, she's beyond good. She knows what the person has done. Still, she's being so nice to him. The man with the rat trap did not answer anything. So he just looked at the girl with utter bafflement. Very shocked, looked at the girl. So next morning, they again woke up in the good season. Of Christmas celebrate करने के लिए they went to the church. That is, the son
the father and the daughter, both of them, ironmaster and the daughter, they went to the church. Now church mein, when they were there, people were discussing about that an old crofter had been tricked and somebody has stolen 30 kronas from his pocket. And obviously his description is so vivid that there's an unkempt and unclean and dirty and unhealthy kind of man is there who's wearing rat traps all around his
Very
neck.
quickly they understood who this man is, and when they came back home, they were quite very, very scared that the moment we're going to go back, then definitely something would have happened already at our home and he must have stolen things and he must have went. After that, what happened? He came back to the game back. The father says that I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard. He says to his daughter, that, just see how big of a mistake you have made. And this man will steal everything. Now, when they came back, they had a word with the valet. Valet is their staff. So he asked him that, is the man still there? But the valet said, very important, very important. The valet said that no, the man is not there. But the man had not taken anything. Rather, he had left something for Edla. And he said that it would be kind of Edla to accept this as a Christmas present. When Edla opened the package, firstly the package was not very beautifully done. सब कुछ बाहर आ रहा था उसका content package का जो भी उसने gift में रखा था. So the moment she opened it, she saw 3 things. See, I have marked it already. Number 1, there was a small rat trap. जब भी contents बाहर आ रहे थे, of course. And the second was 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. And next was a letter. Now let's read the letter. Honored and Miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain. For I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief, but give back the money to the old man on the roadside who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as bait for poor wanderers. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain, because in that way he got the power to clear himself. He also signed with Captain Wonsdale. He did not write his own name. Why? Because he says that since you have been so nice and so kind to me, if I would not have retaliated, if I would not have reverted the same emotions, then you must have been very embarrassed with me. And your trust, your faith on goodness would have been lost. And I never wanted that to happen. This is the chapter altogether. बहुत ही beautiful chapter है with so many themes, so many concepts all together. The main line, the main agenda, the main of the aim of the chapter is to teach you this very idea that if you will be good to somebody, no matter how bad the other person is, he will be changed. There will be a notable change in that person. You can bring about a change with the love, with the care. Change in a person can be brought. This rat trap peddler, because of the love, because of the affection that was showed to him by Edla, he brought about a change. Kitna difficult hota if he would have stolen here. That is why he says that you thought of me as a captain. You treated me like a captain, honorable captain. If I would have stolen here, then my respect and your trust would have broken and you would have been embarrassed altogether. तो ये मैं नहीं चाहता था. Okay, that's all about your chapter. I hope you have understood it. I hope you have studied along with me simultaneously, because अगर simultaneously नहीं पढ़ा होगा तभी आपको problem होगी. You will not be able to understand few things. And अगर still you are not able to understand anything that I said or explained, please make sure कि आप comment section में आप message करो and I'll revert. So don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that tomorrow when I'll upload a video of CBSE questions and important questions of NCERT and other resource books, आप उसके questions को देख पाओ. क्योंकि सिर्फ knowing the chapter would not do the drill. You need to understand what kind of questions are being asked. Okay. On this pleasant note, I'm going to sign off. I'll end my video here and I'm going to see you tomorrow with another mindful and educational video. Bye bye.